with the wonderful number 1 next to him, and Phoenix with that big 0. I'm sure they like it to be a 1 as well, and hopefully they'll be able to pull it out. So, beyond just how far ahead White Wolf got in the early game, Nickel, what would you want to see Phoenix do better over the course of the game?
Uh, Honestly, just a little bit more. You were kind of touching on it in the last game, a little bit more priority into what they need covered, because the last game, the top lane was just really hurting throughout the entire game, um, and it just didn't seem like that they had the ability to go help. And obviously, that was probably because that the bot lane was getting decimated and mid lane had their hands filled. But it, it's just a little bit more prioritization on their hands, and also a little bit of an understanding of what is happening in the game, like how far ahead they were. Because I saw a couple of times throughout the game, like Alonzi was getting a little bit too far ahead. He was doing his job as a tank, but I don't know if it was items or a little bit too many levels. Like he just didn't have the tankiness, the thick meat that he thought he had, and he would just get decimated by the opposing team, and it was just kind of a little bit off. It seemed all of Phoenix movements, but they were getting better as the game was going through. But again, it was just a little bit too late for them, and I'm hoping that they have a little bit better, and maybe they won't have to go up against Timo. And needless to say, actually, Timo wasn't bad of a. It wasn't too bad of a pick, but it seemed like that Phoenix didn't really have that much of an issue with it. He wasn't an annoyance like he always was, but they were able to be pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Teemo wasn't really into many of the fights. He did do a lot of damage with his shrooms once he was involved. Most of the time it was a lot of split pushing and crushing on Amaya because Amaya just wasn't getting the help that they needed. Another thing, like you were saying with the prioritization, I want to focus the lens on that a little bit. In that last fight, they were pouring almost all of their damage down onto White Wolf's tank. And, you know, that's what tanks are there for. That's what you're not supposed to do. Obviously, you know, Arcane Soda had been dying a little on that Sejuani. Or not, yeah, not Arcane Soda, Nebulon. No, Nebulon was the, yeah, Arcane Soda.
Not a problem.
The screen flipping is confusing me today, folks. Sorry about that. Anyway, Arcane Soda had been a little out of position a couple of times, and so it is nice to get those kills, especially when you're behind. But when you're in a massive team fight and you've got their carries behind the tank, maybe shifting focus a little bit would help them out.
Draven out.
And actually, that's another thing too. I feel like that Phoenix could use a little bit more meat on their team. I don't know. It just seems like Braum was a good pick, but against the Sejuani, yeah, Kane has the mobility, and Vigar, sorry, ADD going again. But it just seems like that's something that they need to have on their team.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's interesting that you bring up tank though, because I mean they did have Mundo, and they had Braum. So I mean, would you think they should have gotten someone tankier for the jungle as well?
Actually, yeah, I didn't think of that. And again, it's weird that they were just eaten through like that every matchup. It's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of it did have to do with the aggressive tone that White Wolf was setting.
Right.
And hopefully they'll be up for it. We do have a Lux pick as well, so two of the banned mid laners that were knocked out in the last game are now both in this game. Jarvan as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this works out. Ooh, Xin. I haven't seen Xin in a while.
No, Xin is back in town. Interesting. Now it seems a little bit more of like what we've seen in previous LCUSs. It's a very basic team to how everybody's been. Ooh, can we get the Taric jungle, please?
Not with Xin picked, I don't think. Sorry. We'll have to see what happens, though. See what the last pick here in this first round is for White Wolf. Could pick up an ADC. Lucian is still available. We'll see if Kantos wants that again.
We're gonna get Lulu picked up.
Grabbing the Lulu for Snorlax again. I have to say it works out. I wonder if Phoenix is going to ban Lucian.
Possibly. And that was also an interesting thing last game too, just the aggression that White Wolf could have with that Lulu Lucian combo. I did not expect that coming out of the gate. I mean, Lulu wasn't really playing. If you told me that she was playing support, I might have been a little bit on the edge about that, because she was very aggressive throughout that entire matchup. Like not really doing support things, more of doing ADC things, just keeping the attack up, and then her and Lucian just decimating their opponents.
Interesting with that Alistar ban. Wonder if they're expecting an Alistar top? Or maybe Xin top? I mean, Xin can be flex, but I'm expecting Xin to be jungle here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's emo ban.
So it takes out 2 of the 3 carries from the last game there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm expecting more of like maybe a Cho top from one of these teams. Whether it's Phoenix or Wolf, one of them should pick Cho up.
It is interesting. White Wolf actually did the exact same banning that they did in the last game. The exact same.
Which, you know, seems more like they're running off of a script than something else, just because, you know, again, the Alistar ban doesn't really seem to make too much sense to me.
Right. It's probably just something they were like, oh, just ban these guys. These are what they know.
Ooh.
Swain.
So that's probably a Swain top then.
Yep.
And we'll see what the last pickup is here for their ADC. Vayne? No,
Varus.
Vayne would be interesting.
Going through the V's.
See if they're
Hyper
willing.
carry against hyper carry.
Oh, go with the
same
Varus.
opponent.
Alright, didn't see Varus at all in week 1 of this split, so nice to see him back considering how dominating he was in the last split. And let's see what the last pick here is. It'll be top lane. Still thinking Cho, but with a Swain pick that might make them prioritize differently.
Beyond Pantheon.
Pantheon, alright. Alright. Liking how some of these teams look. This is interesting. Alright, so we got Taric, Varus, bot, Lulu, Twitch against them. Hopefully that sustain will help Phoenix stay in lane a little bit longer coming out of that Taric. And of course we have Hohenheim on Veigar, which is the big story because Hohenheim loves his Veigar. Absolutely loves.
Interestingly, he didn't ban it this time.
Yeah. Interesting that White Wolf didn't ban it this time.
Very true. But, you know, what do we know?
And then Swain Pantheon's going to be really interesting. I wonder if Swain will be able to zone Pantheon enough to prevent Pantheon from being able to combo him.
It's going to be on how Amaya plays as Swain. I don't think he's going to be able to be as aggressive as he would like to be. Because with if Pantheon just shield jumps on top of you, stuns you, and just impales you with his spear, like that's going to be a bad time. And Swain is more of like, I gotta be back at the back, and he doesn't have the greatest of range, but it's gonna be interesting how Amaya Chen plays.
Yeah, I'm hoping Arcane Soda gives top lane a little bit more love this time. Obviously, did do a couple of good ganks up there early on, but I think that Jarvan's ability to get a longer range knockup on Swain will then let Pantheon close with that stun.
Right. And we don't have to worry about mushrooms like we did the last matchup, so...
Right, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see how Veigar does against a Pantheon and Jarvan as well, since Veigar is less mobile. Obviously does have that stun circle, but depending on placement, that won't necessarily be the biggest deal. Looking forward to seeing if Alon-Z can get out some good Taric ultimates as well. We've seen Taric several times in the LCUS be able to swing the momentum of entire games just because of the ult landing on the right people.
Right.
Or everyone, depending on the game.
I do have to say I like this pick a little bit better than the last matchup. Braum is a staple for supports, but I feel like Taric is a safer pick for this, especially with that ult. That's going to be, if you don't have the meat because you're getting behind, that ult is going to save your ass so many times, depending on how Alonso uses it. And I assume he's pretty confident with it, so we're going to have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it would have been interesting seeing how that last game would have gone with Taric instead of a Braum.
Right.
Because I mean, beyond one or two ults, I didn't see Braum making that huge of an impact in that last game.
He was able to land the alts. It's just that his team wasn't there to
Right.
play off of
Yeah,
it.
that's what I mean. They weren't huge impact, so they might as well have not necessarily happened, except
Right.
for one or two times. But Taric, of course, an invincible button is generally always a good thing.
Right. But again, we have White Wolf with a very offensive matchup for the bot lane here. Twitch and Lulu. Twitch is going to be an annoyance with his poison and whatnot, and he's hyper carry, so they're definitely going to be getting out damage when he wants to. And if they decide to play like they did last game with the Lucian Lulu bot, it's going to be the same thing, I think.
It's worth noting that LNZ's being a little aggressive this game and has Ignite instead of Exhaust like you would normally see. So we'll see if they're going to try to match the up tempo of Lulu Twitch with their own fast tempo.
Yeah, that's probably what they're thinking of right now. Because if White Wolf is going to do the same thing that they did last game, let's see as we go into the second matchup of the night.
Indeed. Yeah, Pantheon's also really going to help them have a fast tempo game, assuming he manages to get ahead by even a couple of kills. All right. So, what mediocre Pantheon skin are we going to have here?
Mediocre. I resent that, sir.
Really?
Although that's actually very accurate. He does have mediocre skins.
Baker
Pantheon.
All right, so the memes. Wonderful.
Twitch doesn't have a skin?
Yeah, I think even though people like Elementalist Lux, Phoenix gets this one. They've got one of the two best skins for Swain. Possibly, people would argue, the best.
Well, he turns into a dragon rather than a big crow, so yeah, I do say that that's probably one of the best skins.
And not only that, but they have coordinated bot lane with Port Swimmer and Alonzi. So
right.
Can't you know when you're supporting your ADC match, you know there's something special going on there.
Yep, that's true.
I don't know. I mean, I like the dragon skin. I talked about this the last time we saw this skin in the LCUS also. But I like the idea of the dragons. But I mean, Swain to me always just is crows. So I kind of like the tyrant skin a little bit more, I think.
Well, crows isn't a bad thing, but back when he was a crazy magician, and now he's more of a serious general type. Although I guess he was always a serious general type.
He was just a crazy serious general type.
Yeah. And the game is paused.
Yeah,
Nebulon.
We keep talking about this because Nebulon disconnected.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I think I like the little touches of having the little dragons replace the birds that follow him around on the map. I think that's one of my favorite things about the new reworked Swain.
Yep. It's all about the ambiance, and really, that's a champion that desperately needed a rework. Or, well, not really. Well, even just the reskin too, because I mean, the only thing I thought about, I think he was supposed to be like a general of some sorts before the rework,
right.
But I only just imagined him like if you're just an old guy out in the middle of the woods that loves crows. Nothing really intimidating about that.
Well, as a couple people have pointed out, I think on his base skin he looks a little too much like Lucius Malfoy.
What? That's what they were going for.
Well,
all he needs is the frickin' cane that turns into a wand, which made no sense, by the way.
Well, maybe they shouldn't have gone for that. That's all I'm saying. That's the other reason I like the Tyrant Swain skin, because he's got that helmet on, so you don't see the glorious white hair.
Don't see the Lucius Malfoy.
Yes.
Stop moving around on I'm trying to look at the skin. Stop. Damn you.
Doing patrolling.
I'm on patrol. On patrol.
Let's see if Hohenheim tries to steal blue again. It's going for it. It's going for it. It's going for it. Almost perfectly predicting it. Oh. Ah, well.
Run away. Run away.
That had potential to be awesome, but he wasn't quite able to pull it off.
A little bit too late.
A little bit too late. Alright, so now we'll see how aggressive this bot lane becomes. Actually, every lane's probably going to be a little aggressive. Got that Pantheon up top.
And with Hohenheim with comfort pick like Ligar, it's gonna be an interesting mid lane. Lux is gonna have to watch out for that.
Yeah, let's see what happens. I'm just desperately hopping between all 3 lanes right now until somebody starts getting beaten on.
Yeah, me as well. I actually never noticed that Pantheon's shield with that is actually a bun.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, now I understand why he has mediocre skins.
Because he's literally just based on the movie 300. Doesn't have any personality of his own.
That is a great movie. Okay.
Hey, I have no problem with the movie 300, man. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, good.
But when the entire basis of a character is, hey, Spartans are pretty cool.
True.
Arcane Soda actually could really give Nebulon a hard time here if he wanted to. There is a level differential, obviously, but there's also a big health differential.
Alright.
But here comes Amaya to help out.
Yeah.
Now Soda's in a little bit of trouble. Might actually get taken out here. Good job jumping over there. Flash is blown.
Flash. Right.
Here comes RTC. Arcane, little bit of miscommunication there. Arcane does have Flash, doesn't want to burn it. Wow. That's a very, very risky play there, but manages to pull it off and not lose Flash in the process.
Right. We did see a little bit of the benefits of Swain's, forget his W. That's that global eyeball that he can just put anywhere.
Yes.
Like he had that vision and he was able to just initiate on that.
Yes, Vision of Empire. Not quite global, but very long.
Yeah, very long range.
Port Swimmer
Hey.
is actually very low right now. Once again, staying in lane probably a little bit too long. Has to burn Flash for it. Now Tardis suffers instead.
We're getting that aggression out of White Wolf that we got last matchup, but Phoenix is playing a lot smarter this time around. They do not want to give an early lead like they did last time.
See the gold that Varus went back with, only about 750. And Arcane Soda is still level 2, just manages to hit level 3 now. Hohenheim is at 16 stacks so far, 17 now. And RTC and Amaya are still going back and forth pretty hard. Amaya very low on mana though.
Prime been able to land some good hits on Hohenheim, but there's a lot of poking going on. You're doing a lot of damage, but nothing really to confirm any kills as of yet.
Yeah, both of these teams have a lot of long-range poke damage that they can put down. We'll just have to see which team is unable to sustain out of it first. I am really concerned about Amaya, though. Being under tower the way he is, I'm sure he'll be fine. Here comes the first major gank of the game. Nebulon, there is the stun on there. Flash is blown, just barely manages to avoid being stunned. Hit by several slows, though. Problem is probably going to go down. Oh my god!
Oh.
Lives with 42 hit points. That
Nicely
shield.
done. Oh, that was really close.
Very, very close. Does manage to
calculated.
get Lux's flash, though.
Yep.
So maybe on the next gank it'll go better.
So that's a win in a jungler's book.
Right. And Arcane Soda also ended up blowing flash there. So, two flashes down and forcing the mid laner to go back. And now we'll have to see what happens as the game progresses with that. Still no first bloods compared to the very early first blood in game 1. So Phoenix definitely both playing, I'd say, better and a little more defensively.
Right.
Top lane is very very equal in CS so far. Amaya's definitely going to have to go back now, though. Manages just to get that 6, but you're up against a Pantheon with a serrated Dirk, and you're at half health. And just like that, is pounced on. Does ult, gets a little bit of that health boost. Is his biggest dragon self. But still needs to leave.
Still able to get off some pretty decent damage.
Yeah, no question there. Primed in, doesn't want to go too far forward. Probably concerned about the idea of the Xin getting behind her. item. See how this works out then. La Slow's coming down here. Snorlax is about half a level over. Ooh, big double stun there coming down. Here comes Hohenheim, gets the prison off. Snorlax does not get stunned from it though. Polymorphs and gets away.
Oh, wow.
So, both summoners blown by Hohenheim, though he did switch out into a barrier while teleporting. Amaya's returned to lane, able to poke down on RTC a little bit there. Another big fight going on here. Big Lux Laser misses Hohenheim just barely. Are we going to get first blood? We do. Nebulon probably going to die from it, but does manage to secure that Lux. Ooh, good push there. Snorlax gets the kill instead of Kantos, which I'm sure is a win. Limit that assist.
One for one. 8 minutes into the game. Very different from the last game so far.
Yeah, we'll see if Soda wants this blue buff or if we're going to give it to anybody else. Nope, just get it for himself. Alright, here goes Primed and back. Ooh, big stun there. Good play by Hohenheim. Hohenheim now at 45 stacks. Looks like RTC is coming for a bot lane gank. And everyone else, remember when Pantheon's ult was global? I miss it. No, maybe not. Guess they changed their mind, especially because that bot lane did go back. Looks like RTC is just going to walk back to lane then. So a little bit of lost laning time there, giving Amaya now a 5 CS lead and possibly growing. 6.
6, 7.
A lot of ward coverage put out there. Noticing the control wards, so they're going to take that out. And Hohenheim manages to somewhat get spotted as well, throwing a ward down on this first Earth Drake. RTC getting a lot of damage out on Amaya again, but Amaya is able to sustain this out rather well. Thought they were going to go for a dragon there, but instead they just decided to all go back.
Interestingly enough. Not too much vision going out either, anyways, by other team.
Yeah.
Actually,
Vision's
I negate that. We got Phoenix putting down a ward at the dragon, so they know when stuff's going to go down.
But yeah, vision in general, especially like you said, compared to last game, is kind of limited. In the previous game, White Wolf, I believe it was, had a lot of vision spread all over in certain areas of the map. Oh no, it was Phoenix. Phoenix had several of the ward buffs covered. Good job by Nebulon going in there and helping secure that kill. Finally getting that Lux locked down. Flash was almost off cooldown too, so they almost weren't able to pull that off.
Yeah. Looks like Vigar is starting to turn on a little bit. That was definitely a lot of damage going out.
Arcane Soda's being the sneakiest that Jarvan can possibly be. But does get caught by Nebulon here. Let's see who wins this fight. Should be Nebulon. Ooh, help coming from Kantos though. Interesting stun there, but manages to get away after blowing Flash. Alright, so Phoenix is in the lead now, 3-1. Maybe possibly more. Horde Swimmer has to blow Flash to escape. I was wondering if they were going to go further into there, because turning in on Alon Z might have gone badly for them, but they wisely back off. Don't want to run into stuns. Alright, RTC's regained the CS lead. Amaya, meanwhile, has started building up more items, helping with that health regen. Or health regain, I should say, rather.
Is there really a difference?
Well, technically, this is a healing item rather than a regeneration item, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But we'll see what happens here. Oh, Amaya's going big. Not sure if they're going to be able to kill here, but a lot of damage being put down nonetheless. We'll see what happens. Ooh, good root there.
Nice.
Excellent job by Amaya there, but now we have a counter play going on in the bot lane here. Nope, Kantos and Snorlax managed to get away. Ooh, good root ult though by Port Swimmer. A little bit more communication there. They might be able to follow up on that with Tarek stun. Alright, Soda trying a little invade. Nothing to see.
C.
And Amaya's really enjoying that extra little bit of lane presence he is now acquired. Primedin has decided to go Fire Lux, but Fire Lux might get put out here in a second here, and is. Hohenheim now at 70 stacks.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, Amaya is getting jumped on. Oh! I'm a little disappointed that they didn't finish off Arcane Soda first.
Yeah, a little bit.
Might have ended up dying. That was a very low health Swain by the end of it there. But that was so close. You could one more spell.
I bet you if Amaya had his ult, he probably would have stuck around.
Probably. Oh, here comes,
safe.
speaking of Amaya, here comes down the other side, shutting down Kantos. Let's see if Snorlax is able to get away. Does flash. And now they're going for this dragon. Might as well.
Swain, why can't you just tame the dragon? You have like 50 of them around you at all times.
Because he only is friends with small dragons.
Small dragons. Also, father of dragons, first of his name, just doesn't roll off the tongue as much as mother of dragons.
I think it's interesting that when you're taking dragon with Swain, all these little dragons are watching it happen.
Daddy?
Alright, Ocean Drake is coming up next. So... But yeah, I mean, this is turning into the exact opposite of the last game so far.
Right. Phoenix definitely did learn from the last game. Finally got it out. But it's just showing. Being very calm and collected, looking for openings, getting the openings, and being able to pick them off, and just putting teams White Wolf into a corner that they're going to have a hard time getting out of.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially worthwhile when you note that they're doing a lot of the same things that White Wolf was doing in the first game. A lot of rotations that are hard for White Wolf to keep up with.
Yep.
So we'll have to see what White Wolf's reaction to this is. Only down 3k, so not quite as far behind as Phoenix was in Game 1. Mostly because they're keeping closer up with turret score. But we'll have to see. Looks like a lot of pinging going on, indicating the top lane, or at least areas in the top lane. Alonzi might get picked off here. We'll have to see. Pantheon versus Tarek. Not necessarily a fight Tarek's going to win. But meanwhile, Hohenheim's in a lot of trouble. Gets lasered, gets shot, gets pinned, gets taken out. Kind of a pincer maneuver there. I think he was trying too hard to get a cute ward down, and suffered the consequences.
Yeah, unfortunately, that cute ward also showed that there was a couple of people that he didn't think were going to be there. The ward did its job.
Alright, Port Swimmer and Tard is pushing top lane. Might be able to get this final turret. White Wolf gets their second turret. Let's see what happens here. Still focus on that Tarek. It's a good decision there by RTC. But here comes Snorlax to help. It looks like they're going to run here. I don't think there's going to be any pincer maneuver to catch them. They just want to scare them out. But, I mean, we'll have to see. This is going to be a little close. Yeah, I don't know what Port Swimmer's doing there. Port Swimmer's dying, possibly, is what's going to happen there. Expecting the Arcane Soda ult. There it is. You might be invincible, Port Swimmer, but you're still stuck. But a good turnaround there, thanks to Hohenheim showing up. A lot of damage put down there. RTC tries to get a little bit clever, but isn't quite able to take anything else out there. Ooh. Good job by RTC getting LNZ on the back end there.
I would say that's a win. I don't know if Port Swimmer meant to do that, but that was actually a pretty decent bait.
Yeah, my guess is that it was not intentional, but I'm sure if you ask him, he'd say it was.
But yeah, it actually worked out pretty good on the end, although Port Swimmer and Alonzi did lose their lives in that. But I'd still say it was a 2 for 4. I'd say that's pretty decent.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no question that went very well for them in that regard. It's just, you know, something we managed to make an omelet by scraping the eggs off the floor.
Makes
Hohenheim
it a little bit more salty.
Hohenheim is at 115 stacks now. So delete button is getting bigger. And now we are at 3 turrets for White Wolf versus 2 for Phoenix. So momentum might start swinging back. Only a 2k gold deficit right now compared to the 6k at this time last game. Check out the gold differentials while we're sitting here. Kontos has managed to pull ahead. He's 300 gold ahead right now. 300 gold differential in most of the lanes, actually, one way or the other. But compared to, I mean, where the gold lead? Where is the gold lead then? If they're that far, if they're 2,000 gold ahead, where's all the gold? Oh, it's mid lane. There it is. Mid lane and jungle. Yeah, both of their 4 kills. I was looking at all lanes except mid lane. That explains the problem. Alright, so we have Baron coming up in 2 minutes. RTC trying to do something to Amaya-chan there, but not only does Amaya beat him himself, he's got friends. So Nebulon taking out Arcane Soda very nope.
So close, but no cigar. Be able to get out of there. Alonzi getting pretty deep again, although he does have Vigar with him. That's fine.
Looks like we're gonna get a push here. 5-man. Big laser on Amaya though, taking out most of his health. Pantheon a little out of position, but ult is up. Dragon will be up in 30 seconds. It looks as though Phoenix might be falling back just to take that. But now once again, TARDIS is really out of position here and is going to go down.
Was it worth it? That ward?
Even used ult, so ult is not going to be up for a while, which is unfortunate considering that there's 2 very possible team fights happening in the next minute and a half.
Right.
Good distraction Rift Herald up top though by Hohenheim.
Yeah.
Forcing a response, which RTC is more than happy to provide. Hohenheim tanks a lot of turret shots just to get that brief stun on. The top turret is destroyed. And now Amaya is leading the charge with Nebulon and Port Swimmer to take out this Ocean Drake. Hohenheim's trying to 2v1 here. RTC is going to jump. Oh my god! There's that delete button. We found the delete button, guys. It's right
Found
there.
it.
136 ability power now for Hohenheim's button. Meanwhile, Snorlax gets taken out by, once again, some really good CC moves by Amaya, helping pull champions out of position as the new Swain is supposed to do.
Not just to damage people, but also utility.
Exactly. Utility is king. That's what you gotta
Stay in school, kids.
gotta use. Alright, so let's see what kind of ward placements we get on the Baron Pit as we angle into that phase of the game. We do have 2 control wards from Phoenix on at this time, so much better vision control over Baron than they had last game. Much better vision, period. I mean, look at White Wolf. They have, what, 2 wards on the map?
From what I see, I agree. Yeah, 2 wards.
Yeah, so they're, I mean, obviously their gold spending is focused more on other things, but that also then means they're getting ambushed a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Are they trying to angle for Baron right now?
I think they might be. We'll have to see if that's a good... I don't know, they might be trying to bait it. Just be like, hey guys, look, we're taking Baron. Wouldn't you like to face check this bush? Boy, I know I like face checking bushes when my opposing team is going Baron.
Yep.
Right into that trap. Big laser there on Nebulon, but gets healed up relatively quickly. RTC's pushing pretty hard. He doesn't have teleport, so he's going to have to start rotating, and so he is. Not seeing anyone really commit to any sort of mainline push here. Phoenix seems rather opposed to that idea. I don't know if it's intimidation or they're just trying to pick their moment. I mean, obviously, Amaya is not with them. So
I still think it's probably just to be playing a little bit more carefully. They were going for that, what I assume was that Baron bait to try to get a little bit more control over the map and possibly get a Baron if they were able to be successful. But now that that went south, they're just trying to find another angle because they know that White Wolf's not going to fall for that. In fact, they're not in a position anymore to even try. But yeah, I feel like that they're just looking for some sort of a team fight or some sort of initiation to get some kills, get control, and just plow through.
I don't think Hohenheim realizes how lucky he was there. He was just standing in a bush that White Wolf could see, but they weren't in position to take advantage of it.
Ignorance is bliss.
We'll have to see how this fight goes. We do have White Wolf putting a lot of wards in this general area, so they will see all of the stepping around. And I think they're also right on the outskirts of that control ward, so their ward is able to work. And once again, what was another bush trap is just turning into a everyone go back.
Yeah.
Hohenheim once again getting some of them stacks up to 148 now. Yeah, we're in a very passive stage of the game right now.
Alright, you have to give it to White Wolf. They're keeping their cool throughout this matchup. Yes, they're behind a little bit, but not terribly. They're able to be pretty much equal with towers, gold, and kills. Yeah, that's a thing. But still, making... I don't know if it's intimidation or what, but it seems like that Phoenix is just playing a little bit too careful, in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that they're being very careful, perhaps beyond the point of reasonableness, but on the other hand, they are still slowly climbing ahead.
Goodbye.
They, despite the fact they aren't actually doing too much beyond sitting back, farming, and then engaging in little skirmishes, their gold lead is slowly climbing. They're up to 4K now. Possibly more.
This is probably what they were looking for. Maya, you can't do that to Twitch.
Rip Dragon.
Wait. Oh, do they get Dragon buff for that? No, I'm kidding.
Be interesting. Every time Swain dies, the other team gets another dragon that just kind of hangs out.
Every time Swain dies in his ult, they get Infernal Drake. That would be so bad.
I think we might have to buff Swain a little bit then.
Yeah.
Ooh, Hohenheim almost doesn't manage to take out Kantos there, but does manage to pull it off.
Now they feel a little bit more comfortable, they're going to take out the Baron.
Ooh, RTC using Flash to get out of there. Hohenheim in a little bit of trouble here. Flashes by himself. Good Lucian ult though. Not Lucian ult, ult there from Varus.
Varus.
And LNZ trying to chase. Might get a stun.
Wanzi.
Nope.
Ooh. Flashes away. Man.
Alright, Dragon is up in 10 seconds. Another Ocean Drake. And we'll just have to see if they go for that right away. They do have that Baron buff. They're doing a lot of split pushing with the Varus working solo right now. Big stun there. Man, Snorlax. Hohenheim is just eating Snorlax alive.
It's interesting that Varus is split pushing right now. Guess the Lux, no less, seems to be doing pretty decent at it too.
Ooh, good job by Nebulon drawing in a lot of that aggro.
Tarek's coming up to help him. Gonna get top lane as well is gonna be pretty. Ooh, gosh.
Yeah, this is a big push from Phoenix. I'm not sure if White Wolf can come back from this. We're at a 10k gold deficit now. Oh, good job by Kantos rotating up there, though. Missed a little bit of that. I was keeping an eye on the turret, which does go down. But here comes Kantos to come back in. Let's see if he can lock this down. Ooh, good job by Nebulon getting in there. Hohenheim almost taken out as well. RTC should be able to clean that up. Big knock up there by Snorlax, who's helping clean that up as well. Amaya should die.
That's an ace. Man.
All right, good job by White Wolf. Good job.
Staying in the game.
Yeah, that was a really good good move by Snorlax as well, helping prevent Hohenheim from doing any sort of turnaround.
Mhm.
A bit of an emote there anyway. But at the same time, their base is gutted.
Yeah, they're gonna have to play pretty defensively about that. But they did show that in a team fight that they're forced to be reckoned with. It's not over yet.
Well, that wasn't really a team fight though, because Kantos had taken out Varus and Tardis.
Yeah, right.
Not to diminish how well White Wolf did there, but they also had a bit of an advantage.
Right. And they're throwing it away.
Yeah, that's also the problem with getting an ace, but it's a delayed ace in that sort of way, is that then you maybe feel a little bit more confident than you should about the presence of enemy champions.
You go for Drake, and then all of a sudden, hey, look, a Varus and a Varus and a Tarek. Almost said Tardic. That's not it.
Yeah, they just kind of show up, and then suddenly all your fun's been ruined. Alright, so big push down here in the bot lane. The ace does mean there is no more Baron buff on Phoenix. So
Doesn't seem like it matters too much.
Right, doesn't seem like it matters that much. Still about a 10k gold lead. But, you know, every little bit helps. Big laser coming down there, hitting 2 members of Phoenix. Attempt to go in and try to rectify this a little bit here, but Nebulon is just soloing most of their team. Not soloing, but, you know, doing an effective job. But this should be game.
Yep.
So, great job by Phoenix, assuming there's a last-minute throw here. Able to lock this game down. Thanks to great play. I mean, look at Hohenheim, 10, 2, and 8.
This is why you ban Vigar every time you play against Hohenheim. This is why.
I mean, we can't diminish how well the entirety of Phoenix did that game.
Correct. They were able to hold their own, and it was a good game to watch. It was a little bit back and forth, and honestly, I did kind of knock Phoenix for playing a little bit too careful, but it worked for them. The game was long, but they were able to play safe enough that they were just going to pick off anybody that came at the wrong point at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really well done by Phoenix there, and it was kind of, it was a story of 2 games. You know, you hear about that quite often, but this time it actually really was. Just seeing how differently they played, how well they played that set, and we will, I believe, just be moving straight into the next set of games, just based on the pings that I'm getting here. So we should be going into that shortly. Any other thoughts about how Phoenix turned that around?
No, well done. They kind of took what I said the last game and took it to heart. Just play a little bit more carefully and get some better chance so that you can stay alive.
All right, excellent. Well then, we'll close this out and move on to the next set of games in just a few moments here. Cowbell versus Take the Lantern. Take the Lantern's premier game. Don't go anywhere.